Today feels so much like spring because it's finally warm and sunny, and even the flowers are starting to come out, as you can see behind me here. So I'm gonna be taking advantage of this beautiful weather by knitting outside for most of the day, and I'm gonna be working on this top-down raglan style baby tee that I cast on a few days ago, I think. And I'm gonna see if I can get most of it done today because it's been working up extremely fast so far, and since I'm gonna be spending like the entire day knitting outside, I feel like I could get most of this done. So I definitely miscalculated how long it would take me to finish knitting this top because I have been knitting outside for about 4 hours now, and this is where I'm at. I was fully convinced I would be able to finish this top today, but yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen. I did knit about 20 rows, which is a decent amount of progress, but yeah, definitely will not be finishing this top today. So I was starting to feel like this raglan could be a little too small, so I took it off my needles in order to try it on. I just took this off my needles so that I can try it on because I have a feeling that the shape is not exactly how I want it to be. No, I don't like it. And the sizing of it is definitely off. The body of the raglan is an okay size, but the armholes are definitely a little too small. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out 30 rows, which will bring me back to where I was before I sectioned off the sleeves right here. So basically I'm gonna take out like this entire section right here, and then I'm gonna add some increases to my yoke in order to make the armholes bigger.
So, how's your day?
Good.
How's the bread look?
Good, I think.
Nice day.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Good.
Very nice
Ready?
day.
You're gonna go to the dentist?
You're gonna go to the dentist?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, so it has been about a week since I had to take apart 30 rows of this top, and I have finally worked my way back to where I was before taking apart the 30 rows. I'm actually quite a bit further than I was before taking it apart. So this is the bottom of the armhole right here. So when I had to take apart the rows, I basically like took everything apart up until like this point here. And yeah, since then I have knit this entire section right here. So I've actually knit a lot since then. I didn't really film any of it because I just felt like it was like the same thing over and over again. It wasn't anything that exciting, but I wanted to show you guys where I'm at now because now I'm starting to do something a little bit different. So my plan for this top is to have like this section right here. So from my shoulders down to below my bust, I want it to be just straight knitting, just stock knit. And then from below my bust and downwards, I want it to be 1x1 ribbing. So that's what I've started to do right here. So I have probably like 7 rows, yeah, about 7, maybe 10 rows of 1x1 ribbing right now. And I want to knit 2 more rows of 1x1 ribbing, and then I'm going to put it on a lifeline and try it on to make sure that it looks good, because this is my first time doing something like this. This is my second time ever knitting a baby tee. So my first time knitting a baby tee, I really liked it, but it was just like straight knitting all the way through. And this time I wanted to try something a little bit different and do some 1x1 ribbing on the bottom section. But since I'm not following a pattern, I have no way of knowing if the ribbing at the bottom will look good. It was just an idea that I had, and I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen it done too, like when I look on Pinterest. I look for some inspiration. I've definitely seen people do like the ribbing at the bottom, like an entire like ribbing section. I feel like I've seen that before and I liked it, and yeah, but that's all I have to go off of. I don't have a pattern that like tells me to do this and then I know how it's gonna look and it's gonna look good. So the best way to kind of ensure that everything looks good in the end is to try it on multiple times as I go. So now that I have a good chunk of the 1x1 ribbing, I'm gonna place all of my stitches onto a lifeline so that I can try on the top and see how it's looking with the ribbing. No! Dropped a stitch. No! Another one. Why is there a knot? Super cute. I've had it on for about 5 minutes now, and I've had a chance to really look at it, you know, process how I feel about it, and I love how the top looks from like here to here, and I do like how the 1x1 ribbing looks, so I'm definitely going to continue doing it for like maybe this whole section here. I'm going to make this top about like this long. So yeah, that's all looking good. But I was playing around with the top a little bit and just like pulling certain sections, and I realized this part is a lot looser than what I want it to be. I definitely want this top to be like pretty tight around this section here. Like I want it to be kind of like cinched in a lot, and you know, anyways, I want it to be tight. But if I pull on the bottom of the top right here, we can see how loose it is. Like it's actually flaring out. And that could be because like I think the 1x1 ribbing is like really stretchy. It kind of creates a looser fabric, I think. Or it could be that I need to do more decreases along the sides. Yeah, so now I'm trying to figure out if I want to take apart like this whole section here, maybe even like higher up, and add more decrease stitches in order to cinch it in a little bit more so that the bottom section here can be tighter. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Like, look at this. If I pinch like this whole section, all the fabric that I would, you know, want to get rid of, this ends up being like 10 stitches, I think. Yeah, this is like 10 stitches that I don't want. So if I want to get rid of these 10 stitches, I think I'm going to have to take out more than just the ribbing here at the bottom. I think I'm going to have to take it apart a little up until like maybe here and add more decreases. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to do a total of 10 decrease stitches if I want to get rid of these 10 stitches. But aside from that, I think this top is looking really good. Super happy with everything else about this top, and now I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do next for the shaping of it. Okay, so I thought about it, and I decided that I will be doing one row right below my bust with all of the decreases that I need to do. So yeah, basically when I did the shaping along here, I think it was 2 decreases here, 2 decreases here for every 5th row. But now I'm gonna do one row right below my bust with maybe like 14 decreases, because when I take apart this ribbing here at the bottom, I'm also gonna take apart maybe 3 rows of just the regular stock net just above the ribbing, and one of those rows has about 4 decreases that I did for like the shaping along the sides here. So I'm gonna be taking out 4 decreases in one of those rows, so I need to add 4 decreases to the total 10 decreases that I want to do to reduce the amount of stitches for this section right here. So yeah, I'll probably end up having to do a total of 14 decreases all in one row. And I'm gonna do that right below my bust. And I'm thinking that by doing that, it'll really like cinch in below my bust. Like it'll just really pull everything in right here before creating this bottom section here. So that's my plan. So you know how I said I was gonna do 15 decreases? Well, I ended up doing 17 decreases because the number of stitches I had on my needles couldn't be divided by 15, but it could be divided by 17. So that's why I ended up doing 17 decreases instead of 15. So I really hope that 17 isn't too many decreases, but I feel it's only 2 more decreases than 15, so I think it should be okay. But once I've knit about 10 rows of the 1x1 ribbing, I'm probably gonna try on this top again just to make sure that everything fits okay after, you know, getting rid of 17 stitches. I just spent the last 2 hours doing an Easter egg hunt with my family.
outside, but has never felt her box.
Has never left her box.
What? What did he say?
Has never felt her
box.
Okay, next clue. Yeah. So many goodies.
When someone thinks of me, they may not often be thinking of me.
Was that for her birthday? We have to organize your guys' chocolate.
And this is all of the chocolate that I collected, but now that we're done doing the Easter egg hunt, I am going to spend the rest of the day knitting outside. Most of the rest of the day, I think. I did tell my sister I was gonna go on a run with her later today because it's such a nice day out and she's training for her half marathon. I don't know if I want to go for a run though, but we'll see. I might do that later, but for now, I am just going to relax and knit outside for as long as possible and work on this top. I've already done maybe like 5 rows of the 1x1 ribbing, so I'm just gonna continue doing that. And oh yeah, at some point I have to take it off my needles and try it on again to make sure that it's the right size with the 17 decreases that I did earlier. But yeah, I'll worry about that once I get there. I'm gonna try the Easter one. This is one of their Easter chocolates. It's white on the inside. It's good. It tastes like a Kinder Egg. I'm gonna go knit on our front porch now because I think there will be more sun in the front. I feel like this is gonna be way too small. So I just finished putting all of my stitches onto a lifeline again because I was starting to feel like the bottom section was too small. Like this section right here, oh my gosh. And now that it's on a lifeline and I can like truly look at it, it looks way too small. There's no way that's gonna fit. It could fit, but I feel like it'll be so stretched out in like this direction. And I don't know if I'm gonna like that. So I'm gonna try it on, see how it looks. It fits. Yeah, it fits. Yeah. I like the snugness of it, but I don't really like the look of the 1x1 ribbing being stretched out. Ugh. I don't know. And since I made this part so tight, it's very stretched out. So yeah, it just kind of creates a different look to the stitches. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Because I like it because of how tight it is, but I don't like it because of how the stitches look. Yeah. I don't know what to do. So after looking in a mirror, I've decided that I like it. I just didn't really like how it looked when just like looking at it, you know, downwards like this. Kind of looks weird. But when I looked in the mirror, I thought it looked kind of cute. So I think I'm just gonna continue doing what I've been doing and hope it looks good once I've, you know, brought the ribbing down a little bit lower. But yeah, it looks good in the mirror. So I'm just gonna trust that it's gonna look good once it's all done. So earlier I mentioned I was considering going on a run with my sister later in the day. I did tell my sister I was gonna go on a run with her later today, and it is currently later in the day, and I have decided to join her on her run. Doesn't this look crazy? Look how small the waist is. I feel like it just looks extra small because it's on my needles right now. So yeah, since it's on my needles, like it's just kind of like cinching it all together at the bottom, which just makes it look so small. But this is how far it stretches out. It stretches out a lot. Yeah, but I feel like this might be a good enough length. So I'm gonna take it off my needles and try it on to see how it's looking. I feel like this top's looking really good. I like the length of the ribbing. I feel like I could also make it a few rows longer if I wanted to. I feel like that could also look good, but it also looks good at this length too. So since I'm not really sure what to do next, I'm not gonna do anything right away. I'm gonna put this project aside and think on it before I do anything crazy like cutting my yarn. But I also don't have any other projects on the go right now. This is the only project I'm currently working on. So yeah, I want to cast on a new project so I have something to work on since I can't work on this one right now because I'm still deciding what to do next. So I'm going to cast on a new project with this yarn right here. I am super eager to make something with this yarn for spring/summer at this point because this is I think the blend of this yarn is 65% silk and 35% linen, which makes this yarn really nice for the spring and summer. So I'm gonna cast on a new project with this yarn right here, but I'm not gonna cast anything on until after I get back home from dinner because I am about to go out for dinner with my family to celebrate my sister's birthday, and we are leaving, I think, in like the next 10 minutes. So that doesn't really leave me much time to cast on a new project, and I also still have to get ready. So I'll most likely cast on this new project after dinner. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Cast on 90 stitches. I just finished knitting my first round and I think it took me like 15 minutes just to knit one round. It's always like the first round that's always really difficult to knit because it's very tight since I'm working in the round and my cast on stitches are like a lot tighter than like when I start knitting them up. Anyways, got the first round completed and now I'm gonna add my stitch markers. So this is where I'm at with the I don't know if this lighting is good. It's like a cool angle, but I don't know if the lighting's good. Nah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. So this is where I'm at with my new project. So I think I have about 6 rows done now. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 rows. And I don't think I mentioned before what I was making, but I am making another baby tee, but I am making it slightly different this time. So I noticed with the 2 other baby tees that I made, the sleeves were a little too small. The body of the raglan is an okay size, but the armholes are definitely a little too small. I also noticed that with the long sleeve raglan top that I made as well. So this time I divided my raglan, like with the stitch markers here, when I divided the sections, I made the sleeve sections bigger than the previous raglans I made. So I'm hoping that by doing it this way, I'll have bigger armholes and it'll just fit better. So yeah, trying something a little different this time around, but yeah, making another baby tee. I'm just really loving the baby tees right now because I feel like they're just something that I love to wear, and I like being able to wear the things that I make. And a lot of the times I'll make things and never wear them because they're just not super practical, but the baby tees are very practical for me. Like, I feel like I wear them pretty often and I like the style of them. And like I mentioned, this is a silk and linen blend of yarn, and I'm really noticing the silk in this yarn right now because I'm out in the sun and the yarn looks really shimmery because of the silk. I don't know if it'll show up on camera like how shimmery it is. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Can you see it shimmer? Hopefully you can. I feel like I'm losing some of the sun where I'm sitting right now because I'm sitting under a tree. So I am gonna move, oops, to where the sun is. I finished the top and it came out so good. I love it so much. I don't think there's anything I would change about it. I'm so happy that everything worked out because I did do some things a little differently this time and I wasn't sure how it was going to work out. So I'm really happy that it did work out. So one of those things that I did that was different than usual was this ribbing section at the bottom here. So usually when I knit my raglans and I want them to be fitted, I do the decreases so that they start here and go all the way down, and I continue doing decreases along the sides only right here until I reach my waist area here. But this time I did something completely different. I still did my decrease stitches along the sides here. So like I mentioned earlier in this video, I did 2 stitches here, 2 stitches here every 5th round. But instead of doing it from here to my waist, I only did it from here to here. I did the decreases so they were a little bit more condensed, and then I did the 1 row with multiple decreases right below my bust, and then from below my bust and downwards I did no decreases, which is different than what I usually do because I usually have the decreases like continuing pretty evenly from here to here. But yeah, for this entire section here, I did no shaping. And since it was my first time doing this, I was a little worried that doing this section without any shaping would make it so it's like a little stiff and just lacked shaping. But since this is 1x1 ribbing, it's very stretchy and it just hugs my shape very well. It's not too loose, it's not too tight. That's another thing I was worried about. I was worried that this section would be too tight because, yeah, like I showed earlier in this video, when I just held it up, it looked so small. Doesn't this look crazy? Look how small the waist is compared to the rest of the top. So I was worried that it would be very tight. It looks way too small. There's no way that's gonna fit. And since it's like right where my ribs are, I was worried that it would be too tight for me to breathe comfortably. But none of that is an issue. I can breathe perfectly fine and it's actually very, very comfortable. If I show you here, there's still room. There's still room. But when I let go, it still hugs my body really nicely without it being too loose, but it still can stretch out even further if I wanted it to. So yeah, I was a little worried that this top would be a little uncomfortable because of how tight it was, but it ended up being very comfortable, a lot more comfortable than I expected. Anyways, I don't know what else I can say about this top. I love everything about it. I don't think there's anything I would do differently. I definitely want to make more tops with this exact shape. I didn't write notes though. I wrote down the number of stitches that I cast on, but that's about it. Oh, and I did keep track of like the way that I did my decreases, especially since I filmed this entire thing. I do have record of what I did on camera, which is good, but I didn't write any notes on like, yeah, the number of stitches from, you know, past the point of me casting on and beyond that. Yeah, so I probably won't replicate this top exactly, but I'll definitely do something similar to this top again. I'll probably actually end up doing that with this top right here, which I have shown you know, the process of a little bit in this video. So this is where I'm at with this top now. I'm getting close to the point where I need to do like the row with all the decreases. And now I'm kind of leaning towards doing the bottom section just like how I did this top here. Originally, I was thinking I could do like a different stitch pattern. Like it would still be the same concept as this top, but instead of 1x1 ribbing, I would do like a different stitch pattern just to have it be a little different. But I really like how the 1x1 ribbing turned out. So I'm kind of wanting to do like almost like the exact same thing with this top, just so I can have this top in another color. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video here because my camera's literally about to die any second now, but let me know what you guys think of this top in the comments, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe. But I'm gonna go now, so bye!